Hey guys, welcome to Couch Lock, your number one movie podcast. If you have not yet, please like and subscribe and follow us everywhere at Couch Lock Pod because we are about to lock it in. Today, we wanted to take a look at something a little bit different. In today's entertainment world full of CGI and AI generated images, these things are slowly becoming a relic of the past, but they do their job of immersing actors in the world they're set in, and after a blockbuster, appreciating in value by sometimes millions of dollars, making some nerdy hobbyist extremely rich. Today, we are talking about film props.
Ooh, film
Dun, dun,
props,
dun.
aka
A film props.
property.
Property of filmography.
Of all sorts of stuff, I guess. Like, props have kind of like...
There's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like, props are kind of a big part of making movies, or really just, like, storytelling in general, right? Like, I guess, like, there was a period of time where radio was a big deal, and yeah, there's no props in radio, I guess.
Well, yeah, and it's the physical manifestation of imaginary world.
And just the ability to immerse an audience in your exact vision. Like, really, this is an opportunity for a creative person to imagine something in their head and, like, rip it out of their mind and put it on a screen or on a stage.
Design it.
And that is so exciting. And I can totally see why this is, like, a segment of movie making that people dedicate their whole lives to just this one thing, making movie props, procuring movie props. And then on the flip side of it, us loving nerds who just go out and collect Star Wars. You got a good penny out of me. And it's something that ranges down from the $5 plastic action figure all the way up to the hundreds of thousands of dollars, like actual suits used on movies or whatever it may be. So,
right. Yeah, absolutely. It's so cool how much detail is put into props, especially with smaller things, like things you don't see very intricately, like, I don't know, like Peter Pan.
Okay.
I was gonna say I meant Harry Potter, not Peter Pan.
Wow.
That is, I definitely meant Harry Potter. I don't think
What
Peter
was,
Pan
like,
carries around a wand.
Okay.
I don't fucking know.
Okay. Well, that neither of them have parents, I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess
That's
not.
cool. That's cool. But but Harry Potter
that's
has
the connection.
a bunch of really popular props to it. I mean, a franchise like that, same with things like the Avengers or like any really big superhero movie. Like there's so many, like, en masse, because it's such a big part of movie making. But there are like a few interesting instances when I was doing research that kind of stuck out to me, like a few very specific pieces of movie paraphernalia that I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. One of like the more interesting ones that I found was like, in the movie Seven, you know, the big reveal at the end, how it's Brad Pitt's wife. She's in the box. Well, specifically just her head. Well,
part of her is in the box.
As the story goes, Brad Pitt thought, hey, that it would be way more impacting to not show the head and just let his character's reaction to the news, carry that scene, which is what they ended up doing. So they never showed the head in Seven, but Gwyneth Paltrow was also in Contagious with Matt Damon a little while later, in which she dies kind of early on, and they do like this autopsy scene where they've got her head like dissected back. So that was the prop from Seven. It ended up
that was in the box.
That was in the box. It stayed in the box.
That was in the
Came
box.
out of the box. Contagious. Anyways, yeah, it was like interesting to see how sometimes movie props are like reused in other movies. That was like kind of mind blowing to me.
Yeah, that is really cool. I never knew that. Something I found really interesting was we just did a review of The Last of
Mm-hmm.
Us, and they talk about when Ellie is pointing the gun at David, how the gun is real and it's actually like super heavy.
Oh
So
yeah.
it kind of comes off in the scene as like she's not supposed to be, she's a kid. She's supposed to be innocent, not wielding this
Oh,
massive firearm.
fair.
She clearly can't hold it. And she said that it was actually super heavy, and they were like shooting that scene for a good minute, good long while, and it got tired on her. And it definitely shows in the scene. It adds another little dimension to the scene overall, for
Oh yeah,
sure.
100%. I think that's also part of the magic that a movie prop holds. Like there's a lot of actors that go to play superheroes that say that they had to be in the suit to finally like feel super more or
Yeah,
less, right? Like
totally.
these props are more than just tools for like, or they're not just tools for like the movie viewer, but they're tools for the actor to use as well in their
Yeah,
performance.
absolutely.
And it's interesting how like I think of the original Star Wars, A New Hope, where it was really just like a guerrilla film where they're tearing apart like old airplanes to make their movie sets, and they're like on
Yeah,
these budgets, but at the same time, like their practical effects are like inventing new ways of filmmaking, and at the same time, all of those little pieces like could be worth money, should be worth money.
yeah,
Yet, because it
absolutely.
was like a nothing film at the time, they didn't want to pay for the storage unit that all of that stuff was in, and a lot of those original props were lost. The original Death
Oh
Star was
wow.
used as a garbage can for a while until some collector was
No
like, yeah,
way.
until a collector was finally like,
Oh my
okay,
god.
maybe it shouldn't be a garbage can.
That's insane. Something really similar happened with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, because when that came
Oh.
out, it was a flop. And when it originally came out in 71, it was totally a flop.
Mhm.
So they didn't think to keep to keep anything, but one guy did get his hands on some things. His name is Gregor Gee from Bowness,
All
Scotland.
right.
This dude is a massive
Scotland,
fan
huh?
of Willy Wonka. When he was 20, he spent his 21st birthday at the Munich Gasworks in Germany, which is where the film was filmed. So
Oh,
like that,
really?
at 21, yeah,
That was his
he was a
21st
massive fan.
birthday?
That
Wow.
was his 21st
That's
birthday.
sick. That's way
Um,
cooler than mine. I was just a drunk idiot like everybody else. I would have much rather gone to this set of Willy Wonka.
I know, right? But he did get the only scrumdiddlyumptious bar in
Oh,
existence,
okay.
which is kind of insane. He's the only one to have one of those, I
Oh,
believe.
dang. That's cool.
Um,
That
yeah,
artwork is just like so like iconic, right? Like the
yeah,
all the fonts and the different
the like,
the
yeah,
typesets and whatever.
70s kind of bubbly whirly.
Exactly. It's so good. Yes. I really like that aesthetic.
Yeah,
It's cool that he has that's the only one that's got to be worth some money.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he doesn't disclose how much he paid for
Oh,
anything that
I
he got.
believe it. It
Um,
is kind of crazy.
yeah, probably
Like,
for good
it's
reason.
crazy how much people do spend on some of these pieces, though, right?
Oh yeah, for
Or
sure.
like the lengths that they'll go to. Uh,
To like acquire them.
yeah. Like, you heard about the Spider Man suits, right?
No, I
Oh,
didn't.
okay, bro. So like on Sam Raimi's the Spider-Man one, right?
The Toby Maguire
Tobey
flick.
Maguire, like this was a big deal because adapting like that suit was hard to do, and Spider-Man is so like acrobatic and gymnastic movement. It was hard for them to get like a good looking suit essentially. So they put like a lot of
Oh, and that suit
time
is
and
so
effort.
dope.
Bro, they ended up spending like $50,000 on each suit, and they used like a total of like 60 suits to film that whole movie with, like in different
Wow,
like
yeah.
when he's fighting in the end and it's all ripped up, right? Um,
Yeah.
but here's like where things get a little interesting is like during the filming of this, suddenly four of those suits like went missing, And it was scandalous because it was a closed movie set. Like, it was an inside job, bro.
Oh shit.
Yes.
That's kind of nuts.
So like a long time passed before finally they got this tip about like this old security guard, right? Who like, they're like, okay, this guy has them. All right, go check it out. Law enforcement goes to check it out and finds that he still has some of the suits and that he's sold a suit off to an overseas collector, which they were able to acquire back. At the same time, they found a missing Batman suit that was reported in 1996. What? Yes. Freaking part of it was one of the Batman Forever suits.
Oh, like Clooney or
no, it's
Val Kilmer?
Val. It was Val.
Okay.
And yeah, one of the Batman Forever suits that went missing back in 96, they found that at the same time. So yeah.
Wow.
Homie.
Too bad that suit didn't have nipples on it.
It could have been worth more.
God
it was
damn
only
it.
worth $150,000. It could have been worth more if it had nipples.
Yeah, oh for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Damn, 150,000 for a suit. That's nuts. And I mean, these props get crazy. So you brought up Star Wars.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker's
Oh my
lightsaber
God.
sold at auction for $450,000.
Really? Oh,
And that's
if I had the
yeah,
money.
and that's I kind of thought it would I kind of thought it would be more because these prices get kind of insane. The James Bond's Aston Martin DB5 went for $4.6 million.
Oh, interesting. Is this the one that was found in a storage unit?
Ooh.
One of the James Bond cars was found in a storage unit, like that they didn't know it was in. They bought it for $100, one of those like auctions,
Wow.
right? They bought it for $100, and there was a James Bond car in
I
there.
don't know if it's this one because this was, I think, off rip. This was like a collectible.
Oh,
sort of thing.
gotcha. I think Elon Musk ended
but
up buying the one I'm talking about.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
I guess.
somehow.
I guess in this
In an
this
Elon
metaverse,
Musk
it
kind
makes
of way.
The most expensive is Roddy the Robot from Forbidden Planet and the Invisible Boy, which cost which was $5,375,000.
Wow, that's crazy. Have you ever seen that movie?
No, but when I saw the robot, I recognized it.
Oh, really?
When I was doing some research, yeah, I recognized the robot, which is interesting that I recognize the prop, but I've never
That's
seen
so
the movie.
wild because I've never seen the movie either. Hey, maybe drop us a comment if you can. Is this something we should be watching? If you've seen, give us the name, Mike.
Lost Planet and no, I'm sorry, Forbidden Planet and the Invisible Boy. I'd be interested for sure. I did find a couple really interesting things with a couple other props, like the Lord of the Rings, the ring itself.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Because they had all this weight put on the design of the ring, and everything goes past Peter Jackson, but it had to go past like executives, producers, Peter Jackson himself, and also kind of the fans. And this was in 98 when they're kind of developing this. The film was completely under the radar.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're designing the ring and they go through all these different concepts, and it ended up being a really easy fix because one of the producers, Rick Porras, was about to get married and his ring was chosen as a starting point.
Oh.
Which I thought was kind of cool. So like they went through design changes and different ideas, but it never really changed.
Okay.
But then it was cool. There's also different versions of the ring where they have to film like forced perspective.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so they have massive versions of this ring, or like I think they're the only other ones are like huge, but they're big. Like there's a perspective shot.
Sure, like those really like deep close-ups on the inscription on the inside kind of thing.
Right,
okay, yeah, that's sick.
That and then there's a shot where the ring is kind of sitting upright and then there's characters walking away from it. And that's like a massive ring that they like. It was forced perspective.
Yeah. I mean,
the forced perspective of that movie is really fucking
I was gonna
cool.
say, yeah, that's a theme that runs all the way through, and just another example of how like we had to push technology further in order to visually tell these stories. And
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings did a fantastic job of all of that. That's like one of the best parts of those movies is that forced
for
perspective
sure.
element.
Yeah.
Yeah, props are just so fun. I feel like I could just talk about different movie props like all day long. Like, you know about this one, or what about this one?
Yeah, I know the coolest ones. I do like how in Man of Steel we kind of touched on superhero
Mhm.
movies. In Man of Steel, speaking of being detailed, throughout the crest on the symbol on his chest, they had Kryptonian scripture written throughout the
Oh
crest, the S on his
dang. What a
chest.
small little detail. That's cool though.
I know it's so tight.
Wow, what a little thing to leave for all the super nerds who have nothing better to do.
The super
Like you
nerds,
and
aka
I.
Michael Messerly and Rachel Barr. um, there's one other really cool story. I'm excited to tell you this
Okay,
one.
yes.
So the horse head from The
Oh,
Godfather.
okay.
So this story comes from Al Ruddy. He produced The
Mhm.
Godfather. Apparently, the studio sent them a stuffed head from one of their other sets, and the leather was old, and
Okay.
then it ended up splitting. So Francis Ford Coppola and everyone were kind of like, "No, like this isn't gonna work."
What, it just looked too
So they
cheesy.
went. It looked cheesy. It wasn't gonna
It looked
happen.
even
So they
more
went
cheesy.
shopping for a. Yeah. So they went shopping for a horse head at a real slaughterhouse.
Oh, no.
The horse had emphysema and was going to be killed anyways. So they kill the horse, they cut off its head, they put the head in this huge metal case that was about 6 to 8 square feet, and
What the
they so they bring it on set, and the actor who plays the movie producer in the
Uh-huh.
film, his name is John
Yeah.
Marley. So they unlatch it onto the bed with John Marley, and this horse head falls out of this case with its tongue sticking out, and he
Oh,
apparently the guy
grody.
almost faints. The head was frozen with dry ice, so it was
Yeah.
freezing, and John Marley kept refusing to extend his legs under the covers in the bed because it would touch the frozen horse head. And Coppola was pretty much like, "You have to do it. Like, do it
Dedicate.
now.
It's do it
I'm the
now.
director of this. Do it. Like, you don't have it."
I'm
And
directing you
like,
to
so
touch
he,
this frozen dead horse head with your feet.
so they filmed the scene. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cr-
Whether you like it or not, you're putting your
Those
feet on this
piggly
dead horse
wigglies
head.
are going all the way to town.
So apparently his reaction and his scream in the film was genuine, and they didn't ADR that
Oh, wow.
afterwards. That was like they kept that one take, and apparently
Yeah.
everyone was kind of laughing at him and kind of
What the
cracking up.
hell? I mean, there's a reason why that's one of the most iconic scenes in cinema.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's horrifying. That's horrifying. I would be beyond. I mean, we already have established I don't like feet. I cannot imagine having to touch a frozen horse head. No, thank you. No way.
That's so
That
funny.
is so gross. I mean,
Yeah, it's
there's some
nasty.
gross things that people do with props, but I was more thinking like the way they make like fake bugs out of like fruit and dog dookie out of molding chocolate. Like,
not frozen horse
not
heads.
frozen horse head. No, that's not where my mind immediately went with that. That's crazy, bro. I'm curious to know, as technology continues to advance and we have shows like The Mandalorian where you have Grogu, like basically an animatronic puppet, do you consider that a prop, or would you say that's more of like a character at this point?
I think it would still be a prop. But yeah, that is definitely an interesting conversation, especially with everything leaning more digital,
Hmm.
and the animatronic stuff is just going to take off and get crazier and
I'm
crazier,
thinking of like,
and the prices are just going to skyrocket
could
too.
you imagine a movie in the future where you have like a Grogu type character that we've also installed AI into? That would be kind of crazy.
Oh,
Wow,
that would
we
be
are couch
that's
locked right now.
that's the plot of Megan.
I guess so. Jesus. Oh,
Yeah.
be careful. Be careful who you give your Wi-Fi password to. Well, Mike, any last comments for you there, bud?
I don't think so, but I do want to hear your thoughts, listeners here. If you have any favorite props, do you own any props from a movie,
Ooh, yeah.
or do you have a favorite? I would like to hear it for sure.
Yes, please leave a comment down below. And if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, follow. We are everywhere at Couchlock Pod. Until next time, my friends, keep it locked. Bye.